If you haven't had quite enough of the snow, here's the skiing weather now on BBC One with Helen Willetts.
Hello there. The late arrival of spring has at least been good news for ski enthusiasts. We've got some fine conditions right across the Northern Hemisphere, particularly Europe and into North America. And for Scotland for the weekend, some cold, mainly fine weather as well. Some of the best snowfall we've had all season here if we pick out Cairngorm. Always worth checking, though, the avalanche risk before you head out and about. But look at that, the piste condition, excellent. It's a very similar story right across Europe at the moment, actually. In many of the resorts in Austria, they're skiable from the top to the bottom. So Kitzbühel, just an example of how excellent the conditions are at the moment. We, of course, had snowfall through the weekend in Italy as well, in Cortina, and right across the Milky Way as well. Things are doing very well, considering the time of year. At some of the lower slopes and lower resorts in Switzerland, things are getting a little spring-like, but still excellent conditions at Grindelwald, for example, and on the higher resorts too. The only fly in the ointment has been the snow falling, giving very poor visibility across many of the French resorts on Thursday at Courchevel, though the conditions with over 2 metres of snow pretty excellent. But over the weekend, low pressure is with us. We've got heavy rain to come. As you can see at the destination, the international airports, one like to rule out some rain in Salzburg or Turin. And that's because of this weather system, which will bring some further slushy weather across the likes of the Pyrenees because it's milder air, and then across the Alps. So a little bit more snowfall to come, but at lower levels, it will start to turn things a little bit slushy. And of course, as the rain comes down and the sleet and snow at higher levels, not particularly great conditions. And then that will spin its way up towards Bulgaria, where, of course, we had a lot of snowfall last weekend, and then we could see quite a rapid thaw, particularly at lower levels. But at higher levels, the snow quite abundant at the moment. As I say, a little bit more spring-like and not particularly great skiing conditions for the likes of Sol d'Eur into the weekend with those weather systems sat on top of us. Really poor visibilities as well across the Alps with snow coming down and also that wind blowing around. It won't be raining all the time or snowing all the time, but there'll certainly be some more unsettled weather to come, and then it turns milder. Not, though, further north across Norway. In Geilo, the upper slope's doing quite well. There's a high avalanche risk warning out at the moment across parts of western Norway. Do check that before you head out and about. But conditions right across Sweden and Norway, fairly good at the moment. For example, in Åre, which is a lovely resort. I've been there. Some fantastic skiing still to be found. And again, it's the start of the Easter holiday, so some fantastic news here. Now, what about across the other side of the pond? Let's head to North America, where we've also had a really slow start to spring. We're starting to see a little bit of spring sunshine at Whistler, making the conditions on piste a little packed. But of course, at night, it will solidify again, and it's still skiable on Blackcomb and Whistler right the way down to the resorts. Banff, it's a little colder as you head further inland, so the conditions here, even on piste, are excellent at the moment, despite no snow for 7 or 8 days. In Aspen, Colorado, pretty excellent conditions as well. A little bit colder here. We could see a top up from some snow this weekend as we get some Canadian Arctic air flowing southwards once again across Colorado. Further east, though, for Killington, we could have some further rain, sleet and snow. So not particularly good skiing conditions, although we have had some snow recently. In the moment, excellent conditions. It's just the weather will deteriorate. You can see across western areas some further spring sunshine to come, so the likes of Whistler continue to see some fine ski weather. That weather system passes through Vail, heads its way further eastwards to Killington in Vermont. So by the end of the weekend and into Easter Monday, we'll be starting to see some of that rain, sleet and snow, but quite an active weather system pushing northwards. And behind it, we get that cold Canadian Arctic air once again. So winter holding on. Certainly by night, we'll see things freezing over once again. Always worth checking the avalanche risk before you do head out. There's always more on our website, and this is the last skiing weather this season. So from me, bye-bye.
What happened to me?
Don't you remember?
You are the only mystery worth solving.
Right then, Clara Oswald. Time to find out who you are.
Run, you clever boy.
You have no idea what you are dealing with. I've seen bigger.
Really?
Are you joking? It's massive.
I am the Doctor.
And I am afraid.
Doctor Who starts Saturday at 6:15 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Good Friday starts here on BBC One with breakfast from 6. Until then, we spend the rest of the night with the BBC News Channel. Good night.
Their homes, and here fighting to stop the arrest of fellow campaigners. Often they lose.